The financial pressures around renting can be challenging and oftentimes overwhelming.
Please take a few minutes to join us as we go through a few situations common with renting financial issues. We'll talk about some of the issues, available support networks, and organisations to help you ultimately find a way forward.
The scale of costs when starting a new renting situation can catch many people unaware and lead to situations where they are struggling to see ends meet. Awareness of the typical costs will help you to make wiser financial decisions. Typically, there will be an outlay equating to 6 weeks' worth of rent before even moving into the property, made up of 4 weeks' bond and 2 weeks of rent in advance.
Chris was forced into a situation where she needed to find rental accommodation. Chris didn't have the savings to cover the bond and rent advance for the properties that would suit a single renter. And with a poor credit history, Chris was not able to get a short-term loan to cover this situation.
Realising the idea of renting alone was not possible, Chris searched various share house listings and found a property with 2 other people that was within her budget. This mid-term solution would allow Chris to share the expenses of rent and utilities, allowing her to save for her long-term goals.
Situations change, and unfortunately, we cannot plan for all eventualities. The changes often bring in added financial pressure in regard to renting.
Alex's work had a downturn and was not able to give him the hours that they had previously. This meant Alex was not able to pay his rent until he got extra work elsewhere.
Alex sought options by contacting the National Debt Helpline. From there, Alex got a range of options from which he could choose what to do next based upon his circumstances. A plan that would relieve some of the financial pressure until new work agreements could be found. This included making the rent the highest priority payment, checking if he was eligible for rent assistance, and investigating concessions eligibility on his utilities.
Not all expenses related to renting an accommodation are apparent at first glance. Poor building design and outdated heating can effectively increase renting costs considerably. Similarly, the provision of basic furnishings and white goods can dramatically increase the cost of renting. Things like beds, fridge, and washing machine.
Sam had recently started renting a place, but after moving in, she realised that there was no washing machine. Having neither the money saved for buying a washing machine or suitable access to a laundrette, Sam had a serious issue. Sam's poor credit rating also means that she wasn't able to lease a washing machine either.
Sam contacted a financial counsellor who provided a range of options to look at that could assist them based on their circumstances and capacity to gain funds to buy the washing machine. Things like a no-interest loan scheme, or NILS, for basic household goods and services.
The financial pressure of renting can have significant and often taxing impact on the relationships with those you are renting with. It's important to consider not just the social implications of moving in with other renters, but to consider the ongoing shared financial burden that you will have.
Joe was in a share house with 3 friends. Although they were great social companions, they each had different financial means and attitudes towards saving. Unfortunately, the share house friendship quickly soured due to disputes over finances. To make matters worse, when one of the housemates moved out without warning, Joe's other housemate said that because the lease and electricity bill was in Joe's name, that Joe would have to cover the now empty room.
Joe contacted the local tenants' union for guidance, and they gave him key advice regarding Joe's rights and the responsibilities of the fellow tenants. Joe discussed these with the landlord, and a new lease was created to better reflect the share house occupants.
If you have found yourself under financial pressure, it is important to realise that there are options available. Although they may not be easy, they will provide a way through to a better future.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out to the National Debt Helpline and speak to one of their financial counsellors.